everyone. Welcome to the special open meeting of the Vesuvius Town Council, Tuesday, July the 28th, 2026 at 9 a.m. in Council Chambers. Could I please have a motion to approve the agenda? Councillor King, Councillor Bennett, all in favor. Thank you. And we will look to staff reports, implementation of increased watering restrictions, and we have a report from our CAO, Mrs. Coulson. Thank you, Mrs. Coulson.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just to recap the report that I provided to Council today, conditions impacting the water supply throughout the whole region are reaching unprecedented levels. For example, here in Osoyoos, drought conditions were formally declared for the operation of Osoyoos Lake. Snowpack levels are at 0% of normal conditions in the Okanagan, resulting in only 1/3 of the annual lake water replenishment that we would get in an average year. And the province declared stage 4 of 5 possible drought levels in the southern interior region. Just yesterday, the Ministry of Water, Land, Resource Stewardship wrote the town asking that all water users reduce their consumption, even for essential uses. Jurisdictions such as Peachland and Oliver have already reduced watering to 1 day per week. Even in the Lower Mainland, watering of lawns has been completely prohibited. Because seasonal watering in Osoyoos is by far the greatest demand on the town's water supply, it's recommended that we move to stage 3 or 1 day per week water restrictions to be implemented in order to preserve Osoyoos's drinking water and to ensure that we've got sufficient water resources for emergency services. We're all in this together, and the town has put together a plan of how we can reduce water consumption starting right away if council approves this. And we understand that reducing outdoor watering represents a significant change. It's going to be something that we all need to adapt to. But Osoyoos is facing increasingly serious pressures on our water supply, and waiting until the water levels reach a critical point would leave fewer options available and would result in even more severe restrictions. So should council support the recommendation today, the town's website will be updated later today with details on watering days for each zone and when it's okay to do things like outdoor watering of food plants. And so the recommendation to council today is to approve the implementation of residential and commercial stage 3 watering restrictions effective August 1st.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Coulson. I appreciate the work that's gone into this and the fact that it's Appendix A, which shows the 3 zones, which is really quite useful for people who now have certainly 2 days a week, and it shows what it would look like, plus all of the residential and commercial stage 3 restrictions that are on the back page. Just wanted to mention to everybody that this water restrictions have been talked about for quite some time. We have, since we turned on the irrigation here, we went to 2 days a week right away rather than 3, which was the normal, realizing that we had a lot of concerns. Castanet and the Times Chronicle and news outlets have been very forthcoming on water issues up and down the valley. It's the first thing that you hear about when you turn on the news at night. They have all mentioned the concerns that we have. We know that the lake level was down at one point critically low, which we couldn't open our marina. We looked at the Board of Control for of Vesuvius Lake for some help with that one. But now that all of the water has gone from the tops of the hills and no snowpack, 0 in our area, we know that there is nowhere for the water to come to. So what we have to do is use our water as carefully as we can. And so I certainly think we've done a good job of making sure people are aware of the water issues. That's certainly been ongoing for the last couple of months on just about any news broadcast that you can say, including the town website. So I just think that we absolutely have to go to the next stage now, and we have to make sure that that we're using every drop carefully, like 3-minute showers, which has been my push for a long time. I want to also point out that this weekend and last week, I have at my property, I've taken out all the cedar trees. They've all gone to the landfill. Cedars take a lot of water, and they also are a fire hazard. So we all need to sort of consider that and do our bit to try and make water work wisely and protect what we have. I'm going to see if there's anybody else on council that would like to go ahead. Councillor Bennett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm just wondering how this resort, when we say residential and commercial, how that involves a commercial like car washes or guys up in industrial washing their big logging trucks when they come in and that type of stuff.
Mhm. There is some guidance in the bylaw, but that is something that I have already given kind of a heads up to our local car wash about. And I said after this meeting, I'll have a discussion about how they might reduce their water use there, perhaps closing the automated bay and just leaving it to shorter timers on the wand wash. Um, I don't wish to close the car wash completely, but perhaps I just want to hear if they've got some ideas about how they could conserve water there.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Councillor Chong.
Thank you. I think there is, a good amount of confusion with the staging because we have changed it pretty much every year for the past 3 years. But just to recap, I believe in 2023 we had moved to stage 2 pretty early, which would be at the equivalent of our stage 3 right now. And back then, if I recall correctly, we were only at a level 3 drought. So we were very proactive in 2023, knowing full well, the state of our reservoirs, the fact that we're running our pumps nonstop. So it is no surprise that this year we are moving to stage 3. I was pleasantly surprised we didn't do it earlier, seeing as how our snowpack was at 31% coming into May. And our mayor has been doing a great job with updating us with the developments of OBWB and making sure that the public is aware of the current state and the projected state of our drought conditions and water levels. But with that said, I would like to move option 1.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? That would be Councillor Moreira. Is there anyone else that has any questions or concerns? Go ahead, Councillor King.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I guess this is for Mr. Madison. Will this also go up on the signs on the highway about the watering? Or is that just used for the quality of our water?
Thank you. Yes, it will be on the signs.
And I really got to bring to your attention, the 2 signs going north and south are so small you can't read them. I mean, the sign they sit on is like a normal sign, but then the little sign on it's only about a 15-inch square. It's impossible to read when you go by. Just recommending you can find something bigger.
You're referring to the water quality signs?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Worship. Through User Director Madsen, are we gonna be monitoring that water usage with our meeting software to see hopefully that we're somewhat complying with our bylaw when that does kick in?
We're still somewhat in the early stages, but we are taking a look with the metering software and seeing where we're at with some of the users.
So my thinking is that we do know a fair amount about water usage because we do have most of the meters in. We're not charging people yet because we're still doing the communications and trying to set up the way that we can clear it up for people and answer their questions before we jump into actually charging. But I do know that that we have a lot of people that, despite the fact that they've been asked to use less water, we know from their meters, because we can read them, and pretty soon everybody will be able to read their own meters with Neptune 360, and that will help for sure. That some people are using a great deal more water than like far and above what their neighbors are using, for instance. So there might be that there is a leak. It might be that they've chosen to use more water. We're not quite sure, but those are the kinds of things we're going to have to look at. The water use, because we now have it. If you can't manage it if you don't know what it is. So if we're going to be really looking carefully at that and trying to talk to people who may not be aware that they're using as much water as it's been proven with the water meters. So that's important. So we have, I was just going to ask Chief Cook if there's anything that you can tell us from the fire department about water usage and what the fire department is doing with this, and how are you managing to put out fires? Because we know this is fire season and we've seen the trucks go by quite often. Can you comment on this at all?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd love to provide a couple comments. For a period of time, the fire department has been, or up until now anyways, really reducing the amount of water that's being used during practices. For us, and traditionally with the reduced number of actual fires that we have, practice is the largest, or the activity that uses the largest amount of water by the fire department, but it's necessary, as we need to make sure we're proficient and competent in our skills to deliver water onto a fire to extinguish it quickly. Again, we've moved away from that. We'll revisit that this fall, hopefully when we're out of drought conditions, and we've refocused our training in other areas. With respect to extinguishing fires, it's fire department's mandate to quickly apply water onto a fire, but only to use as much water as necessary to extinguish that fire. And the reason for that is to reduce damage caused by excessive amount of water during an incident, whether it's to the building or building that's had the incident, or maybe a suite underneath if it's in an apartment building, for example. So for us, it's been a reduction of the amount of water we use during training. We have moved away from cleaning our apparatus unless absolutely necessary, and that is just to protect them from corrosion. And again, with regards to fire, we'll continue to hit fires as fast and hard as we can, limiting that use while we're on scene.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate it. And I think the fire departments in our area have done a phenomenal job. Seems to me that anytime you hear about a fire in BC and in many other places, that the bombers are on it, the fire departments are ready, and I really appreciate the work that everybody does. Councillor Chung, did you have something else that you wanted to? No. Mrs. Coulson, we did get a letter from the province concerning a request for water conservation efforts, and we've just received this morning. And I'm just wondering if basically what it tells us is that we're sort of on the right track, saying let's go to 1 day a week, and making sure that we look at all the ways that we're using water that sometimes we don't think about. You know, washing your vegetables in the sink and having the water go. No, well, we can't be doing that. We have to rethink how we use water. Is there anything, we're not quite sure what is the ramifications of this, of the letter that we've got. We just know that they are being very proactive, the province, in saying we need to get down to reduce water use and withdrawals for essential and non-essential purposes. And I know that there are water licenses that the town has. And I'm just wondering if there's anything more that we know about this. Are we going to look into this further? during the week.
We will look into it further. As you mentioned, this is quite new because we've just received the information. I'm not aware, actually, in all my decades of working in municipal government, of this step from the province, reaching out and asking that municipalities reduce their water usage. Under the Water Sustainability Act, the province does have the right to either forcibly, by regulation, reduce our water use or even suspend our water licenses if we don't comply and if the drought continues to worsen. So we really need to take this letter seriously. I think we are on the right track. And as I said, we're all in this together. We are going to take a number of steps. We're going to be seeing a lot of lawns that are on town property go yellow. And we're probably going to be looking at reducing the hours at the splash park. We all have to take this seriously and take very concrete steps to reduce our water usage.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So we have it's been moved and seconded that we go with the recommendation that is in here, and I will read it. That council approve the implementation of residential and commercial stage 3 watering restrictions effective August 1st, 2026 in accordance with Town of Vesuvius Water Conservation and Staged Water Restrictions Bylaw 1273, 2011 and Water District Rates and Regulations Bylaw 1357, 2019. And I will ask the question, all in favor? Thank you. We got you, Director Appleby, Councillor Appleby. Thank you very much. If there is nothing else on the agenda, I will call for the meeting to be terminated. Councillor King and Councillor Morera, all in favor. Thank you very much, everybody.